Hello, everyone, and welcome to Immigration Live with Lee. I am your host, Attorney Lee Marvin. Today is June 30th, 2025, and it's the special birthday edition of Immigration Live with Lee. Whose birthday is it? Well, mine, of course. So I thank you for joining me on my birthday, and I hope you have some great questions for me so we can talk about immigration. I answer immigration questions, anything related to immigration for the most part. If I can't answer it, I'll tell you why. But all you need to do is ask your questions in the comment section so that I can get to you as time allows. So thank you for joining. And good afternoon to you, Kat. I appreciate it. And thank you for saying happy birthday. So I appreciate it very much. And Kat, of course, you already know if you have questions, please post in the comments section. For everyone who's joining us, I'm not toot my own horn, but today's my birthday. So thank you for joining me on my birthday. And remember the protocol. Type your questions in the comment section. If you don't have any questions, you can just participate in another way, comments, things like that, or just observe. So thank you for joining me. And also, I would ask you, please tell me where you're joining from. Okay, just city, state, country, whatever it is. We draw people from all over the world, and I love knowing where people are coming from and joining us from. So please let me know. Okay, Houston, thank you for joining from Houston. Again, I'm in Michigan. Grand Rapids, Michigan is where my main office is, but I help individuals and families from any state in the country and actually any country on the planet. So if you need some help, I'm sure that's probably why you're here. So please post your questions if you have them. Okay. So I got a question here, but it's asking about money related things, and I don't talk about that. It's just bad protocol to talk about things related to money on a free broadcast. What I would encourage you to do, and here's what I'll do here now. I cannot speak your name because I cannot read your language. So I apologize for that. But since you write in English, I'm sure you can read my the link that I'm going to put here, so you can reach out to me. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there was a question last week when you joined, and again, thank you for joining again, that was similar to this. And I forgot to mention that you can book a time to talk with me. Some things are not appropriate on a live broadcast. So I would encourage you to use that link that I just posted there and reach out directly with me, and I can answer your question. Okay. Again, I'm reaching out to my friends and followers on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So if you're joining us from those platforms, thank you, welcome, and let me know where you're joining from. Okay. So let me head over here to Instagram real quick to see. Yeah, we got a lot of people joining. No questions yet. So please post your questions in the comment section. In addition to let me know where you're joining from. It's a weird time, okay? And I'm like a broken record. I'm kind of sick of saying that, but it's true every week. I don't like what I see out there because it makes things difficult for you all to be reunited with your loved ones. You know, the good thing is I'm not a politician. I don't have to deal with political things. I'm just a guy. I'm just an attorney that knows how to do things and knows how to help people. And that's why we're here. Okay. I can't solve everything because some things are beyond anyone's control because of politics. But that being said, I think you all know how the system works, at least politically and with bureaucrats. But I'm here to at least help alleviate some of your anxiety and worries by answering questions. So let's see. Kat is asking, I'm going to post it here so you all can see it. Mr. Lee, my fiance from Greece, been there by the way, loved it, is planning on coming over again for the 2-year requirement. What types of pictures, how many pictures should we take as proof of it? Any recommendations? Kat, thank you for your question. So your fiance is coming over from Greece, so you can spend more time together as a couple, which is a primary benefit. The secondary benefit is trying to assemble information that helps you qualify for and win a fiance visa. Okay. So there are a number of things that can be done. Pictures paint 1,000 words, as they say. So pictures are great in different locales. Authentic pictures of you all together in normal places. I mean, if you want to take a picture in the grocery store, do it, because who else does that, right? Who else would think of going to a grocery store together and taking a picture, right? One thing I try to communicate through my videos and through the live is that immigration, they're very picky, especially now, but they're also human, right? They're also normal people that you can speak to them on a one-on-one level, even if they're bureaucrats. How do you do that? Well, the way I do that is by making my clients appear as authentic as they really are, right? It's not smoke and mirrors. It's just accurately portraying and communicating who people are. Immigrants are people too, right? Immigrants are people with relationships and histories. It doesn't have to be cookie cutter the way the government wants it to be. They want it to be perfect and ideal, but that's not how it is, right? So my biggest advice for people, first of all, my biggest advice, don't do the stuff by yourself. And that's for obvious reasons, okay? It's not related to my business. It's related to success, because now more than ever, things are so critical, things are so slanted in the wrong direction. Things are not fair, and that's what I opened this live up tonight saying. Things are biased. The government is extra critical for whatever reason. Okay, there's political reasons. There's bureaucratic reasons why the government is a lot more critical than they ever have been. The takeaway is they are, and if you want to increase your chances of actually being successful, try not to do this by yourself. I don't care if you hire me or not. Okay, well, that's a lie. But what I'm trying to communicate is it's more important that you find someone to help you that knows what they're doing, AKA an immigration attorney, than to try it yourself. Because I tell you what, doing it yourself and not doing it the way the government wants you to do it is the kiss of death. Okay. And is it worth saving money? I don't know. Maybe it is, but not in the long term, because if it's not done right, if the government denies it, all of a sudden now the deck is stacked against you. And the next time you try to fix it, it's going to be much more difficult. Okay. So that is a takeaway that I want for you guys to see. So I will say that even though I give this really good advice, and I have lots of videos on my YouTube channel on how this process works, the intention is in the spirit of goodwill to help educate people. Okay. I sometimes question myself whether I should be doing it, because I know the tendency of people like, oh, well, all I have to do is look up this stuff and they tell me how to do it. It's not how it works. Okay. So let me move on to some more of the questions. Okay. But to answer your question, I think I did, Kat. Authentic environments are always preferred. Okay. 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 So again, I will say that Begotten is joining us again, who has joined us many times in the past. Okay. Let me see here. My wife filed for an I-130 on April 10th of this year. We are doing consular processing from Mexico. We live in Mexico, and my wife will be filing her taxes for the first time in the US. Are we, one second, in trouble because she does not have 3 years of tax returns? And then this is a long question. Evidence we submitted was service bills like water and light. Okay, tons of pictures as our relationship evolved. Home insurance. Okay, so begotten. So thank you for the question. I hope you heard what I said to Kat just a short while ago. Okay, and again, for any of you who missed things, we post this on my YouTube channel. So all the information is going to be there. All you have to do is go there. Okay. So thank you, Elise. If Elise is joining, I appreciate it very much. Thank you for your comment. So begotten, what I'll say is, so begotten, this is a tougher question. It's not just a matter of me telling you how many pictures to do or utilities, which you probably got from my channel because I see that you're joining from YouTube. That is a more sophisticated question. Okay. So the answer to that is going to depend on a number of things that might be beneficial for us to talk. And seeing how you are a regular joiner to this, you know that there's certain things that really should be discussed live because the right information isn't going to be communicated the right way. I will say that you are kind of in the danger zone with only 1 year of filing tax in the United States. That is not going to go over well with the government, right? Because not only do they want to show or see financial stability, they want to see those ties to the United States. And they absolutely are getting a lot more critical and strict of people that technically are US citizens, but they're not a part of the USA. And that does not sit well with this administration. I'm not saying whether I agree with that or not, but things like this create issues and you got to be darn careful. Okay. So I would encourage you to book a time to talk to me so I can help you do this the right way. You don't want a denial. I know your significant other is doing this and you guys are, probably on a budget. I get it. It's more important to have success than to save money, right? I've talked to clients for years about this. And yes, it's money. I compare it to kids needing braces, right? You find a way to do it. If you had a child, it's got some problems with their mouth and teeth, you would find the money to make sure that they get taken care of. So this is an example like that. Way different than braces, I get, because this is a life-changing thing. So just be careful, okay? So if you need to reach out, that link is up there, okay? And Kat, Roger that. Appreciate it. I love the military talk. I appreciate it very much. And thank you anytime, join and ask your good questions, okay? So, okay, this is a second question again from Daoud. You need a private consultation about marriage fraud. I've gotten a lot of those lately. Okay. So can I help you? I can. Okay. So if you look above in the chat, you will see that link. I might as well post it again since we're talking about it. But that link is here because it is that important to reach out on certain matters. Okay, so give me a ring, schedule a time, and I'd be happy to talk to you more about this. Okay, because it's happening a lot because people are desperate, right? People are desperate to get in the United States at almost any cost, and that includes a lot of the time marriage fraud, which is immigration fraud. All sorts of weird and bad things can happen. So reach out to me. Okay, so. Okay, let's see here. Before I go to Instagram, did I post that on Instagram? No, I'm sorry. I'm posting that link in case you all on Instagram still give me a second, Instagram, and I'll start reading your questions. Well, no, I'll do it now because I'm here now. I'm shifting between screens and it's not always easy to go back and forth. So let me see here. Okay. Okay. So, and I recognize Zach from last week as well, Zach. Your questions about your Venezuelan fiance. Your question is you've heard that Venezuelan fiance visas, K1 visas, have been approved and that people have successfully entered the US without an issue. Have you heard the same? Portland, Oregon. Oregon. Portland. I love Portland, Zach. So thank you for joining from Portland. Appreciate it very, very much. I was there just last year in Portland. But anyway, to answer your question, I haven't had any clients successfully enter from Venezuela recently. So I cannot speak to that. I have heard as well, that's what's crazy about these current policies that we're dealing with. It's a bit arbitrary to an extent because the problem that this administration has with Venezuela really isn't with Venezuelans as much as the Venezuelan government, which is well established, not friends of the United States, never going to be friends of the United States while the dictator is in power. I've got family from Venezuela, okay? So I'm speaking the truth here. In my experience, the government of the United States, even though there's travel bans and all that stuff, sometimes things might slip through. Is it intentional or is it unintentional? I like to believe that there are agents out there that, yes, there's a policy in place, but they have discretion on how best to exercise that. It's called prosecutorial discretion, right? The government agents have that power. So if they see a deserving couple that has the ability to move forward with these processes, I know some of them don't care. The policy is to deny people from Venezuela. So I have seen it. I haven't had any clients personally. Okay. So moving on. Okay. Okay. Back over here to YouTube and Facebook. Okay. Elna, how you doing? So thank you for joining us tonight, Elna. Okay. Okay. So yes, 666 Happy Girl, marriage fraud. I believe we talked in the past weeks, a few weeks ago about that. So I appreciate your question. Marriage fraud is, yeah, it's a real thing. And I'm going to post this because I love praise. Who doesn't, right? Thank you kindly, Happy Girl, 666 Happy Girl, for your support. I really appreciate it. And thank you for joining. Okay, so let me go back over to Instagram. I've got some other questions from earlier today that I wanted to get to. If these questions are drying up, I will happily switch over to that. There's not a whole lot of new questions on Instagram or YouTube or Facebook, which is why sometimes, just to be honest with you, I'm long-winded about certain things because I would rather give you more content, especially if we don't have a ton of questions. I'd rather give you content than to just end this live early, okay? So just so you guys are tracking, it's like, man, that guy just keeps yapping. Well, it's to provide information if there's not a whole lot of questions. So let me see here. So Karen is saying, I can no longer see the processing times on the website. I'm assuming, Karen, you're referring to USCIS. My spouse is a green card holder through a family visa. I'm not sure what visa that is, Karen. So do I have to leave once my OPT timing is over? and there is no update on the petition. So I will say, Karen, that is becoming such an important question. Never before, I mean, the last couple of years, that's become an increasingly difficult question to answer and highly important. Biden started creating problems for people who overstayed. That is magnified under the current Trump administration. Typically, what they say is that if you're in an overstay status, that's no longer acceptable. Years before, the only thing that matters is whether you entered legally. Those days are gone, okay? If you're in an overstay status, no matter how you enter the United States, that is bad for the future. Most of the time now, the government will send you a notice saying you need to get out of here in 33 days, or we're going to invite you to deportation court, okay? If you don't get that notice, it doesn't mean that they're not going to treat you any better. What it means is they don't always have the ability to provide those notices to people, but they will enforce it the same darn way. So if you're an overstay, later on, if you're moving forward with a process, and they see that you had an overstay, they still have the authority to punish you for that overstay, and they often do now, okay? So it's a tough call. I always tell people, don't risk overstaying. If you have the ability to leave, do it, right? My wife, okay, she's authorized me to tell you guys certain things about her history. She was on a student visa, and she had some issues with the school that they didn't file it properly, and she found out about that. What did she do? She got out of the country, went back home, and she resolved it and fixed it, and then came back. It was an expense that she wasn't expecting and didn't want, but she did it. Why? Because she's really darn smart. That was before all this crazy cutthroat immigration stuff. So my advice, again, if you're not getting it right, is don't risk an overstay, because they are punishing the heck out of them, and it's not going to go well for most people in an overstay status. Does that mean that you're toast? No, but it could. So if you have the ability to do it, you should try to leave and stay in status. That's the name of the game these days, okay? All right, I spent a lot of time on that question. So let me go down. I think there's some more questions. Okay. Let's see. Yep, Karen, I see you're telling me that you had the question above. I believe I got it now. I think seems like you're a little impatient because you keep asking if I saw your question. I believe we're good now, okay? Again, if I'm not getting your questions, folks, it's great to have free answers, but it's more important to have answers. So use that link that I put up there and book a time to talk to me, right? I'm a very pleasant person in person and on the live. So please don't feel shy, okay? Okay, a couple quick ones before I move on. I see we got about 6 minutes left, so I want to get to these. Okay, so the question is from Elias. Can I submit my citizenship while my 751 removal of conditions, in case you guys don't know, is still pending over the last 2 years? I got divorced 1 year ago. Also, they're going to ask, okay, Elias, I'm not going to answer your question because this is high level question and answer, okay? I need more time with you to explain how this is not going to destroy your future. So, Elias, use that link and book a time so I can talk to you more about it, okay? So, yes, please do that. Okay, so this is a question. My husband came to Pakistan. He is a U.S. national, and we got married. Congratulations. We have a son together. That's wonderful. Congratulations. Now I got to know he is already married. in the USA, do you have any international laws for such cases? Okay. So what I'm seeing, what I'm getting here is your question is, we got married in Pakistan. Are we married in the United States? The United States does absolutely recognize marriages from abroad as long as they were validly, legally entered into in the country that the ceremony was conducted. They will be honored by the United States government. So there you go. Okay. Here's a question. Is a baby proof of a legit marriage? Nope. Sure isn't. Does it help? Yeah. But that's i130 But no, anyone can have a baby. Anyone can meet anyone and have a relationship. So no, absolutely, that does not. That's a important piece of the puzzle if you have the other pieces. But that in itself does not guarantee any success with immigration. Okay, so be careful with that. And again, book a time to talk to me if you have more questions. It seems like there probably is more to the story there. Okay, I'm going to switch over to YouTube because we're almost out of time. Okay, let me get some water here. Okay. Okay, Mark, how are you? Thank you for joining in again. Always a pleasure. Okay, okay. So Juana, okay, I-130 is taking longer. We are still waiting for our application for my spouse. It's almost a year and 6 months. Stinks, doesn't it? So Juana, I don't know what status the sponsor is. That has everything to do with it, okay? Legal permanent resident spouse takes infinitely longer than a U.S. citizen spouse. U.S. citizen spouse, there is no wait time for a visa. So the sponsor in this case must be a legal permanent resident for it to be taking so long. It is taking long. And they're reporting the scuttlebutt, the word on the street is that it is going to be even longer based on what's going on. So I'm sorry that is the reality. Again, if you have questions, let me know. So you are a citizen. A year and a half is a long time. I will tell you, it is a long time. I've never had a client take that long. Okay. So usually what is going on in cases like that is that there's something with the case, whether it's a prior immigration history or whether it's with a filing that is not normal or right or good or complete or fill in the blank. And the government is either doing an extensive review because of that, or they put your file on the end of their desk with all the other 30,000 files that they'll get to at a later time because they just want to move to an easier case. I mean, these are things, this is how humans work. So I hope that's not the case for you, that you don't have an underlying problem with your case, but that could be the explanation. Okay. Okay. Let me see here real quick. Okay, this is a great question from Vala. You're Iranian. K1 case has been received by the embassy. You have your interview scheduled July 1st or in July. Oh, okay. First, should I attend the interview or reschedule knowing that the visa denial is likely? I would 100% absolutely go to the interview. I don't know. Technically, you can't cancel your interview. You can just not show up. I wouldn't not show up because, again, I know there's a lot going on right now politically. Totally get it, right? We're all seeing the news. Lots going on, and I can't even fathom what it's like with your situation. But I would not show up. If the government sends you a notice, well, that's different, okay? But I would try it until you don't have the ability to try it anymore, okay? So that's my advice to you. Okay. Do I think USCIS really checks their online tips? Happy girl, what do you mean? Do they check their tips? Um, you mean fact checks their tips? I just want to know what you mean by that because yeah, I honestly I didn't really realize that USCIS has tips, right? Because I never rely on the government for tips on how to work their process. I mean, I guess it's possible that there's some useful information there, but I typically don't rely on the government to help me with anything, right? Of course, I'm a lawyer, so I have an advantage over most people that are doing this. Reach out to me. You've got the advantage too. Reach out to me, connect with me. And I know we've talked in the past, so you might not hotline tips reporting information. Yeah, marginal usefulness I find with that stuff. So, I mean, you're here for a reason watching me because I'm not going to sabotage or I'm just honest and straightforward. The government, I've never put too much faith in what they put. Some stuff is helpful, so it really depends. It's a hard answer. I mean, a hard question to answer. So, but I see there's questions pouring in, and I'm sorry to tell you guys that I am over. And I know that a lot of these are people that I've seen in the past. So join next week, please, at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So I can continue answering questions. So I will pick one last question. Okay, one last question. Okay, happy girl, thank you for that. I appreciate that. So here's a quick question. Okay, TC, can a person still adjust their status after a visa overstay and is married to a U.S. citizen? Okay, TC. The last question for the night is potentially a whopper, meaning it's a big question, okay? Yes, it's possible, okay? The overstay obsession that the current administration has doesn't mean the agents won't or can't approve requests if there's an overstay. It depends when the overstay is, okay? And I've been saying this for the last year or so. You might not have seen all my videos or all my lives, but the whole overstay question is when it was. If honestly, if the overstay was 5 or more years ago, you have a better chance than if it was in the last year. Why is that? The border crisis. When the border crisis happened with Biden, and it's just that everybody knows about it, the way that they started policing, instead of policing the border and trying to resolve the issues down there fully, they started denying people's requests even if they enter legally. Okay. So the shorter amount of time, the more difficult it is to get an approval. It is still possible, but the longer time you have, ironically, the easier it is. I've had clients 15 years overstay and I'm getting their approvals. So it is possible. It just depends on timing. Again, reach out to me if you have questions, book a time to talk to me so we can talk more in depth. And thank you for everyone joining me on my birthday. I'm saying it again. Thank you for joining me on this Monday, June 30th. We will see you next week, Monday, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, which is Detroit time. Thank you kindly. Have a wonderful night. And see you later.